What's up, everybody? This is Enlightened Masculinity. Quick show, just talking about the Carnival event, which is happening. It starts today. It's already been going on. And if you don't know me, I'm Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Form Yoga, captain of IMC Nation. I live here at IMC Base 1 in Campbell, California with Arasapar Dibazar, founder of IMC Nation. If you don't know what IMC Nation is, I've done a lot of episodes about it, and there's a lot on it. You can go to Instagram, hashtag IMC Nation, and you see all about it. You see it's a worldwide movement, hundreds and hundreds of men in this spiritual gang and thousands of men that kind of watch from afar because they don't want to get too close, or they've tried to get close and then they blow off because it's really taboo stuff. Anybody that gets into it, it's taboo. The words we use, the concepts we use, the understandings we have of female psychology, of the planet, of the culture, what's been going on, the suppression of men, all that stuff. Like, it gets real taboo when you start hearing and learning in the ways that you have been suppressed as a man. And it's you may already agree with some of that, like when I say that, yeah, but it's to levels that you don't even know. That's what I'm saying, why it pushes buttons. You get closer and you see more and more and more, and it's like what happens is people feel wrong. They feel like they've lived the wrong life, or they've made wrong decisions. Not necessarily, we've all made wrong decisions, but like it invalidates what we've been doing, what we thought was right, and that feels very uncomfortable. Oh, see, their Instagram just ended. Nope, it didn't end. Oh, it did end. Damn, Instagram. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's reception or something. All right, well, whatever. I was going to cut them off anyway. They should have joined this. So it takes some courage. It takes using your intelligence to see what Arash is doing, and what all of us that are following and have been following for some time, you see us leveling up and coming up. There are some men's groups I'm aware of. I'm sure I'm not aware of all of them. I've seen a lot of ads for different kinds of men's groups. I've also been involved in the yoga community of the United States for years. I was basically conquering that motherfucker. And, so I saw a lot of men in that group, a lot of spiritual men that were trying to start movements and groups, and different leaders in that. And by no means is the yoga community like the end all be all of the spiritual community in any area. There's lots of forms of spirituality and mindfulness and new age stuff, old age stuff, orthodox stuff, all kinds of things. And they all seem very trapped in their dynamic. More or less, there are some that are less trapped, and trapped in the sense that they're not able to freely express themselves. They're not even able to freely think. So they might think they're expressing themselves, but then when they come around to IMC and they hear some of the thoughts that we conveyed, they're like, yeah, they agree. They've never entertained those thoughts. And then now their expression expands, or their thinking expands. And so then they see how confined their expression is, because it doesn't match their thinking. And so you got to stretch your expression to match your thing. And in that, there's a lot of risk. The people around you, they're going to resist, a lot of them, especially women, it's funny about women. They resist until they submit. And they submit when they are attracted to you and they're comfortable with you, they trust you, and then they see that they hold value to you. You're so valuable to them that it's better for them to submit to your leadership than to run away or to sit and argue about it. And of course, we don't argue with women, but they'll try. And you definitely got to know that not all women are for you. Most women are not for you. Out of 100 women, are you going to get 1, 2? So that means the other 98, are they just going to happily walk away? Some of them are going to become haters. They're going to try to control you. They're going to try to convince those 1 or 2 women not to go with you. Some of them will just walk away. And some of them are not really even qualified. They might be like hideous or too young, too old, whatever. But it's not all women are going to be for you. And so there's a trust and a confidence in the method here. When you see someone that, let's say Arash has 5 girlfriends, but how many women do you think he interacts with, that he talks to? How many do you think in the 16 years that he's had his longest relationship, and so he's also had multiple relationships, like how many women have come and gone? That's the top player on the planet when it comes to ethical player. He's not just like throwing money at women and buying them all kinds of stuff, and they're just like on a I forget what the term is, but where they come and go, like there's like a it was right there. Turnover. There's not like a high turnover rate where like a girl comes for like 6 months and she goes, and a new girl comes for 6 months and she goes. Like, these are longer relationships. Some girls do come for a short amount of time and then leave. or they try. There's a whole range of how close a woman will get with you, all the way from not even knowing you, starting the conversation, the courtship, the relationship process, and then how long she's in that. And then she leaves. Does she come back? Does she leave for good? And what you do with that. So it's a minority of women that are going to be with you. And this understanding from IMC Nation and from the founder and the teachings will, especially if you're a younger man, because the dating game is much more difficult the younger you are. There's things about it that are easier, like you have a young tight body. You'll get a lot of older women easier. And you have less to lose in the sense, so you take on more risk. You have access to different kinds of girls, let's say, because if you're on college campus or whatever. And being young and healthy, also, you can really kind of destroy your body, drinking and smoking and doing whatever. Like I said, risk taking that gets you access to certain kinds of women, but it's not going to get you a long-term or a loyal or a deep relationship. And that might not be your concern when you're a younger man. I was a younger man too once. I'm 36 now. So, what I can't say what it is going to be for you. I can say, working with hundreds of guys and seeing their evolution through this, it's not that men are like seeking relationships. It's they seek loyalty. They seek companionship. They seek soft femininity and compliance. They want to feel strong and in control and like they're leading the woman. And so they just want to be with a woman that follows. And then, of course, they want her to be as beautiful as possible and as elegant as possible and graceful and all sorts of things. Like my girl, even though we're going through a conflict this morning, it's kind of ridiculous. And, we'll see. Like, I don't have any certainty or confidence that any woman is going to stay indefinitely, no matter what she says. But she'll probably get over it, whatever. And bless her heart, one of my relationships, my main relationship, she has brought me like 10 or 11 models this week. 10 or 11 models. She number closed 10 or 11 models for me and brought them to me. And now I'm in communication with 10 or 11 models just in the last like 8 or 9 days. And so this is a great method. I'm not going to give you the whole method because this is part of the training. You can come and get that training and start your own modeling chapter. So I have like 20 to 25 models on my call list, and Sultan also. And this is what we'll be running auditions for this weekend and, shooting a music video this weekend. And it's not like the music videos that you watch, those girls aren't hired, but I can tell you from the way that those girls interact with the guys, because of being involved in the audition process, in the video shooting process, in the private parties that we do, that there's a comfort and an affection and a closeness between the women that are in our group to us than what I see in other music videos with like rap stars or rock stars or whatever, and models. There's so much distance. Those are clearly hired models. The models that you see with us, you won't be able to tell that they're hired models. It's as if we're on a normal date or a courtship process or something. It looks like a very natural thing. And the truth is, it is. It's a natural thing because of the way that we live our philosophy. Yes, we're professional. Yes, we have a modeling agency. Yes, the girls get paid. Yes, we get them exposure. Yes, all that stuff. But yes, we're also men. We also understand female psychology. We're also so good. And it's not like we're gaming girls and sexualizing with them and, trying to do something. It's just in our way, our default way of speaking and how we understand women, that through interaction with us, like anybody that's in IMC Nation, the closer and higher up you are, if you're in Dragon's Lair, that's the beginning step. That's the beginning. And maybe the beginning step is like YouTube, Instagram, or whatever, but that's almost not even beginning. That's just like level 0. That's not even a level. It's not on the chart yet. I mean, it's better than being negative. Every other guy that's never heard of Arash would be in the negatives. So you're at least at 0. Then if you're on Dragon's Lair, you're like at level 1. Like, okay, there's some powerful information there. There's a real powerful mindset. It's a world-class, top of the planet guy speaking to hundreds of men on Zoom every 6 days a week. And that's going to reshape how you think and how you view the world, relationships, all the stuff that I've already said. Then it's going to be advanced camps. And the advanced training is a monthly ordeal. Every month there's a new one. Sometimes there's 2 a month. Maybe occasionally we skip a month. But there's this evolution that happens in the teachings because it's so organic and consistent. So every day there's 2 lectures, plus there's relationships that are being gone through, plus ongoing studies and meditation and everything. So getting involved in the world, doing activity, handling problems, handling successes, all kinds of things. Then going back to your meditation practice twice a day, calming, deep, introspective, also expanding. So you have a very high altitude perspective of what's going on. Then back into the world, activity. Then back into meditation, introspection. Then back into the world, activity. And so that cycle every day also yields its own kind of wisdom. So there's a lot of wisdom, far-seeing logic of how to interact from the beginning of the courtship, of the relationship, of the pickup, of the business even. That doesn't inhibit future actions. It doesn't get in the way of what you really want, but it also doesn't, it allows for more to come in from the mouth end of your funnel, of your life. More people can enter your life, more qualified people can enter your life. It's not just about quantity, there's quality, but it's not just about quality too, because you need quantity. There's a dynamic that happens that's different. You'll see a different effect on women when there's other women around. And it's just unknown to you. It may be conceptually known to you, like you read about it or heard about it, or maybe you've seen it. But I'm telling you, it's a different experience. Even being close to the Rosh, it's different seeing it, hearing it. There were times earlier, years ago, I remember when I got in the first year or two, that, and all the way up to even 3 years ago is probably the last time this happened, that he brought multiple girlfriends into the lecture. And they were there sitting right there while he was lecturing, and the guys were there. And it's a rare thing, but it's happened half a dozen times. And I'm telling you, even being that close, it's different when you yourself have relations with multiple women. It doesn't have to be sexual relations, but because of the way that we are, that's never off the table. And so because of that, there's an expression of masculinity here in dominance that she may or may not comply with, whether you're having sex with her or not, whether you're on a courtship with her or not. And you could be a good little boy. You could be a good spiritual boy, a good religious boy, a good whatever boy, a good boy. And you could have women around, but they're not going to treat you with a certain respect. And they're going to be completely intolerant of your mistakes. They're not going to follow you the way that you think, or the way that they could. It might be out of your reference. So the more you do advanced camps, the more you'll see the depths of experience, the depths of perspectives, how the texting and communication goes back and forth, how the courtship happens, which is just gonna replace your thinking and reshape your mind about it. So we have this Carnival event, and this is the current advanced training. It's been the most diverse training that I've ever taken from Arash, out of 36 boot camps and probably about 9 events before that. And then before that, probably about 10 or 12 different events that kind of scattered throughout time. So I've probably done about 50 to 60 boot camps with Arash. And this is the most diverse because of the training. What's up, Ricky? But because of the training at the beginning of the month, where it started going to and from Vegas, some of the behind the scenes that are in Vegas, and on the road trip and everything, combined with the way that he has changed throughout the month, going off of the kind of cosmic ET UFO kind of information that we've been studying, in addition to all the other stuff. It's not like we ever drop stoicism, or we drop transcendental meditation, or we drop the pickup sciences or whatever. That it all gets integrated into greater understanding. It's not just an accumulation either. You got to drop the things that don't fit, don't work. You also need to be open to maybe some things won't fit for you because you have prior beliefs that won't allow you to look at those options. And this is where we get the philosophy or the idea of nothing is taboo, all is allowed. It's not that you have to do everything. It's that you must have a mindset that allows for you to consider everything and then judge yay or nay. And you may have prior beliefs that don't allow that. But then if you fast forward time, let's just take this lifetime, for example, not next lifetime or whatever, but in this lifetime, if you fast forward time, it's like you simulate. Like I have a PhD in engineering, master's degree in engineering. A lot of what I did was simulation. So you put in data and you have relationships, equations for how this data relates to each other. And then you move it forward in time step, another time step, and then another time step, another time step. And you simulate it forward for days, months, years, however long your simulation is. So in this example, the simulation of your life, if you take your beliefs, your perspectives, your ideas, and you simulate them forward, Where is that going? Where are you going to arrive? Now, keep in mind that the world is also changing. So it's not like you move forward and the world stays a constant. And so the world is also changing in very unpredictable ways. 5 years ago, would you have predicted COVID lockdown? So it's a mental exercise if you just play it forward. And a lot of studying social psychology and evolutionary psychology and how we tap in with the culture and whatever, we could kind of start to see the direction it's going in. Like I was watching, last night I was watching Babylon 5. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Babylon 5. It was a sci-fi TV series. My dad used to love it. And now after watching all this UFO shit, I've been having these flashbacks to Babylon 5. And I'm like, damn, that wasn't a TV show. That was like a documentary of what the fuck is happening. That's like, so whoever wrote that had all this information about like the disclosure and the secret government projects, whatever. Like, dude, that's now, of course, there's like drama in the show. It's a TV show. So there's relationships that happen and there's always love interest and there's conflicts and whatever. And, you know, in the naming of things, like it's not exactly what's happening, but it's like, it's pretty much exactly what the shows that we're watching are saying is happening. And these are like insiders that worked in deep secret projects and they're coming out and they're saying these things for fear of their life, but they're saying it because when you see and hear what has been withheld from humanity, I mean, if you're like me, you'll be enraged. You'll be angered. You'll be like, God damn, they have the cures to cancer. They have free energy. They have contact with ETs. There's ETs living on this planet, inside the planet, above the planet. We're cloaked. We're vaccinated. We don't see it. We're blind. And it's like, fuck, dude, they have all this technology and they're just keeping us at this low level so that we could be better slaves. The elites have them. We don't have them. Okay. So I could sit here and be angry and pouty about it. I'm not going to be able to invent from scratch like a warp drive or whatever for traveling through space, but I can free myself from the agenda of how they say I'm supposed to interact with women and other men. And in IMC Nation, we have such a strong tribe and an internal economy that more and more it's breaking away. It's like Mars has a breakaway German colony. So the Germans, they left on a warp drive or whatever, because they got technology and whatever, and they had bases on the back of the moon, and they went to Mars, and they went to other little planetoids in the solar system. So they set up what are called breakaway civilizations. IMC Nation is sort of a breakaway civilization from culture. We're not going to another planet or underground or something, but mentally we're like on another planet. We're in another universe. And, you know, the way that Carnival has played out using great grand perspectives of humanity. It's as if you're in you are you, but take your mind and look from altitude, look from space, look from an alien's perspective on what's happening. And then put some more information in there. Like you kind of know what's happening, but now you're seeing how people are. Have you ever seen, like, let's say, let's use a video game analogy. If you've played a video game and you beat the level, all right, you know how to solve the level. You knew how to, where the key was and where the map was, and you beat the level. Then you watch one of your buddies play the game and they don't know how to beat that level. And you see them get angry and you see them get frustrated. They want to throw the remote. They're cursing it. They're working. They're eating Cheetos and they have to leave and come back. You see them struggle. You already know how to beat the level, but you don't tell them. You just watch them struggle. That would be kind of like what we're talking about. IMC Nation is looking at men and women and watching them struggle, knowing the solution, but not telling them, because they're actually going to, it would be like you tell your buddy, dude, go here. And they're like, dude, don't tell me. I want to figure it out for myself. And they like, don't even accept your advice. And that's what it is. People, men and women aren't going to accept your advice. And because it invalidates them, it makes them wrong and they don't want to be wrong. So this is a deep principle from L. Ron Hubbard. So, what am I saying? So Carnival is going to be a lot of these high altitude perspectives. You're going to see the solutions to what's going on around you. And then you got to put it into practice in your life, because knowing is different than being able to act it out. You're going to make a lot of mistakes and miscalibrations when you try to act out these philosophies. And that's where you got to have persistence and courage. Now, there's one particular thing. I posted this video, and I'm going to end YouTube. So YouTube, I'm going to stop your stream right now, because this is just for the podcast. Stop the stream. Okay. So I know there's 3, 4, 5 of you. All 5 of you are not on the camp this month. And so, you know, it's never too late. What's so special about, one of the things that's so special is the behind the scenes. So I made a video promoting this, and I can't convey how profound 2 or 3 of these recordings are. There are many of them that are very profound. Some of them are very short, like 45 seconds. And you just hear kind of like a quick dialogue between me and Arash. And I put it in there for a reason. I re-listened to it. It'll change how you view the comfort and interaction with someone that you live with, that you're so close with. I mean, I run all this business and money flow for Arash. Like, there's a lot of trust. And what's going on out there? Okay. I'm just listening if there's any like vital activity out there. I should go record some behind the scenes. So one of these behind the scenes is a very profound conversation between AZD and this girl. And it was one of the models that we had pulled from our model strategy. And very pretty girl, 18 years old, actually. So she couldn't attend the event. We didn't know. So she showed up to the event and then found out she didn't have an ID. She wasn't over. She had to be 21 to enter the club. It was a private party. So they closed down the club and sectioned it off for us, but you still got to be 21. So she had interactions with AZD, and, you know, they hit it off in the ways that, you know, he leads. So he leads in a way that makes it hit off. And so I was privy to hearing this conversation. We're coming back from eating or going to a strip club or something like a week or two ago. And we're in the car, and I think she calls him, is how it goes. And then it's about 30 minutes of conversation with her. So anybody that's been in a relationship, you've probably experienced the darkness of the woman. You've experienced the darkness of the woman, like even in short interactions, but it's hard to judge that because, you know, she has her own shit. She's coming from her life. You might have just crossed paths with her, or you might barely know her. And there's just a lot of variables there. That's not the kind of darkness I'm talking about. I mean, you're with a girl or you've had some consistent interactions with her. She's generally a positive person. She's generally pleasant to be around. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's dark. Or you talk with her and she gets triggered or restimulated. She kind of zones off, or she's looking off in the distance. And then she comes back and her personality is different. Her face is different. She looks sad or angry or dark. The way she's communicating with you is very passive aggressive. By the way, a lot of girls are kind of stuck in that darkness. So when you meet girls and they're passive aggressive, just in their, like, not just on the opener, you can open a girl and she says, "Get away from me." And that's not, you know, that's not what I mean. I mean, you're in a conversation with a girl and it's like her way of communicating with you is so toxic. It's so passive aggressive. It's so bossy or what have you. And that girl is stuck in her darkness. And it doesn't mean she can't be saved. It just means that what it takes to save her is a very wise, intelligent man, and a man willing to put up with her shit until she submits. And so he's got to be very good, very wise, great game, high wisdom. And she better be beautiful enough for him to have patience with that, because she's not. He's just going to walk away. And then she's left with the future of her life just not being able to attract a good man. She can attract men. Any woman with a vagina can attract a man. But there's a different level of getting a man. You can get a man to dick you down versus like getting a man. Like, it's night and day. It's like one is 10,000 times more valuable than the other one. And so in this conversation, you hear Arash handle this girl's darkness. It's amazing, really. When you hear his tonal inflections, how he inflects his voice, hear the rhythm, hear his acknowledgement, hear when he cuts her off, when he doesn't. And of course, the advice he gives, the generosity he gives. It's going to change your reference for how to interact with a woman that goes dark. And I guarantee if you learn from any other pickup camp, any other dating camp, any other men's relationship coach, they're going to fuck up. Guarantee it. The way I've heard other coaches, top coaches, you guys that you may know with face tattoos, head tattoos, get lots of girls. They're known, big players. I don't even want to name them. AZD has collaborated with them. They get fucked up by the woman's darkness. Now, some are better than others in handling him. You know, Vince Kelvin's he's a hypnotherapist. So he can handle a lot. Hypnotica is a mindset master. He can handle a lot. It's different. I've heard them handle conflicts. Other guys, and those are the top guys. So like other guys, they're below. I know they just end up dropping the girl and getting a new one. And that's great. You got to learn the wisdom and experience. It's not that every girl is worth it, but there's a lot of girls that you may lose or you may repel out of your circle simply because you didn't handle them right. Now that is what needs to happen right now, because if you're not wise enough to handle them right, then they shouldn't be with you. They shouldn't be around you. They should be repelled. But there is a kind of cause and effect. There's a kind of trial and error evolution that you'll achieve just in life as you attempt and attempt and attempt again, and you wisen up and you mature and get older and more experienced, that you'll just get better. You can accelerate that evolution, because I'm telling you, if you lived for 1,000 years, you would evolve much more than if you just lived for 100 years. If you live for 10,000 years, you're going to have a lot more opportunity for evolution. You know, it depends. I'm saying, like, if you're an old decrepit person for 999,000 years of that, then maybe that's not the case. But let's say you aged gradually to fit that time. You'd have a lot more time to accumulate wisdom and experience. And I'm no bullshit. This is what you learn from Arash. You will learn an older, more timeless wisdom, maybe because partly of who he is, an old soul and all that shit. But also, I mean, yes, he's a special character, special guy, but he's in the mix and he's tapped in with these different sciences and arts, and he's been willing to sacrifice himself in certain ways. Let's say tattooing his face, it's a sacrifice. Let's say leaving his parents to go train with Manu, that's a sacrifice. You know, turning his back on his parents when they don't accept multiple relationships, it's a sacrifice. You know, having all his students betray him and having, you know, hate talked about him, ex-girlfriends talk hate about him and all sorts of shit. You know, there's sacrifices that have been made in addition to tapping into the certain sciences of game pickup, psychology, you know, communication, language, martial arts, and Eastern philosophy, and all that stuff mixed together. And so that's why we say you will evolve lifetimes here. You'll get the sound bites, the conversations back and forth, the handlings. This is a very important word, handling. It's as a noun. It's a thing that you do to handle a situation, a handling. You'll get the handlings that will propel you forward, will leap you forward, time warp you forward in your evolution. That if you just went through trial and error trying to figure it out, it would take you a lot to get to that conclusion, to get that to that strategy. And in the meantime, you waste a lot of resource, you age a lot, you only have so much time here on earth. So your investment is paying for that leap forward in your evolution. That will save you a lot of struggle. It will also give you a lot of struggle. Okay, when you get to new levels, you get new devils, new problems. And that's a lot of guys will say that lame ass excuse that they don't want multiple women because it's too much of a problem. Good. More women for me. Like, if you're too weak to handle that, like that's a personal weakness. It's not difficult. It's just you have the wrong strategy. And then when you get to 2 women, it's not that difficult, but then the 3rd woman becomes a new difficulty. When you level up in your thinking and your strategy to handle that new woman, it's easy. 2 women becomes difficult. 1 woman becomes difficult. But then 4 women is a new level. It's a new difficulty. So you accumulate and you sharpen your strategy. It's not a completely new strategy. 3 women is not so different than 2 women. It's just a honing and a sharpening of how you speak about other women, how you speak about yourself, your purpose. It's how you express yourself. And you're learning her psychology, her deep subconscious psychology, her genetic psychology, which is like deeper than subconscious. That's like hardwired, programmed in her. And you become so aware of the human condition because you are also walking around with genetic psychology, deep subconscious psychology, and your cultural conscious psychology. And that's why leading men, it's so powerful, because you see how men are influenced by this too. And men and women, I mean, this is a very community, family, tribal oriented philosophy. You just may not see it yet, or maybe listeners after the fact. I mean, everybody here, if you listen to me for the last 30 minutes, you probably agree with everything I'm saying. So I don't need to preach to the choir. We're about to transition to Dragon's Lair right now. imcbase1.com is where you sign up for the camp. I think all 5 of you should. You should borrow the money, put a down payment, whatever it takes, because it's your life, man. And I don't want you to just wither. I see what guys, when they don't commit and fast forward time, and it's like, I mean, you're just on a different time track and it's miserable and it's lonely. And what are you going to do as you age? And it's like, what are you doing with your money in your life? What do you got going on, really? Is the camp a physical thing? It is in person. It's also online. So in person starts today at 7 p.m. tonight in San Jose. And it's $1,197, I think it is, the price, this camp. Every month the price changes. I just change the price. Sometimes it's the same. Sometimes I change it. And then online is $697. Well worth it. You get a month of lectures. You get about 20 advanced lectures. You get about 4 or 5 hours of behind the scenes private conversations with Rosh, or where you hear him, like how he handled this girl's darkness. Man, it will change how you handle depression, how you handle suicidal thoughts, not just in yourself, but in the woman. If you will encounter it at some point, it will change. And man, that solution is worth hundreds of dollars by itself. $1,000. Depends on who you are, man. And if you plan on being a high-level guy, save yourself the trouble of not knowing how to handle that once you're in that position. Get it now. Okay? Hit me up, DM me if you have any further questions. I got to go to Dragon's Lair. Thanks for everybody showing up. I'm new here. What exactly is Arash Bazaar? To me, seems like a dating advice. Well, I think I explained it pretty well there. It's definitely not just dating advice. That's just where most men fail. And so that's what gets highlighted because that's where you're weakest. You are definitely weakest there, just like everybody. And Arash Bazaar is his name. That's his name, Arash Bazaar. All right, everybody. See you in the next one. Oh, subscribe, leave a good comment. Good show.